Welcome everyone to the third section of our course. I'm really glad that you're still here with me, and I am really hoping that you have learned a lot so far in our previous lessons that you can use and apply in your future projects. Now in this section, we will be talking about the different phrasing contents and formatting elements that we can maximize and use in the development of our web pages. So before we go and start, I just want to give you an idea about how you can plan for the design of your website. One of the tips that I give my students is to research the best practices that is recommended by the community, and at the same time, look for inspirations through looking for websites that you think and based from the community standards are sites that are currently in trend. I would suggest that you go and try to do a Google search for the best websites that are out there so that you can try to look for some of these sites and then try to gather some inspiration from them. This will help you get some ideas. So I will really suggest that you go and do your Google search here, best website design example or best website designs example for 2020, and then try to research for the best practices. So these are common thing, best practices for web design or UI design and user experience, user experience and user uh, interface design. So these are key parts of you becoming a web developer, and I just want you to have that idea. And another key thing that I just want to share here will be I would want to discuss the word innovation. I'm highly recommending the importance of creativity, guys. That is why I am suggesting to my students that they don't necessarily need to limit their imagination when we are working on projects. If you will be following my instructions in building a website, let's say for example in this course right now, we are working on actually creating a project here that you can include into your portfolio. I will not be limiting your your potential, your ability to be creative. I would want you to be able to try out experimenting and exploring the different possibilities that you can do in creating your websites. And I am highly encouraging you to be creative and at the same time be innovative. I can relate this to the story of the can opener. If we go back to the history of a can opener, it is an idea of making opening cans a lot easier by developing a tool that is much easier to use. And I'm quite sure that at some point you may have tried opening a can while using a knife, and I'm sure it's really not that easy. So the inventors of the can opener found a problem, and that's them opening a can using a chisel. If we go through this history that I actually did research about, and you would see here that I found a website here that discusses the history of the first can opener, and it was quite difficult before because they had to cut around at the top with a chisel and hammer. Innovators are highly observant, and they consider it a challenge for them to think of a way to help on how to make lives of people much easier through innovation. So if we go try to look at the idea of opening a can, it was an old idea from where we use a tool such as a knife or a chisel. And because this is a bit difficult, innovators wanted to create a new tool out of the old idea that led to the creation of the innovative tool, which is now what we use as the can opener. Similar to web development, it's perfectly okay for you to look up great designs of websites out there that had been developed by other developers. Then you can gather your inspiration from their work and try to learn from how they were able to build such great websites with great user interface and user experience. Just remember that innovation is not similar to plagiarism, because in plagiarism, you are totally copying the work of another person, and that goes against the programming code of ethics. In innovation, on the other hand, we are trying to create something new out of an old idea so that we can make things better or make certain processes easier so that we can also help out in solving problems that we might be encountering currently in our society. Our goal as programmers will always be to help out in making the lives of our end users much easier. I'm hoping you're getting the idea of innovation and how I want you to practice it and try to not necessarily copy all of the things that I'm doing here, especially with the design, because you can put your own touch into it, try to apply your own taste into what you're working on because it will be your portfolio. And at the same time, I'm hoping this will be helping you get the idea that it's good that you create something new out of an old idea. You're not actually copying it, but you're finding inspiration from the old idea so that we can make it a lot better. Now, before we go and proceed to our course here, I just want to change this file to phrasing content and formatting content because I've already saved the other files for the previous lessons in our document. So don't worry, most of the sections here that I've actually created here will be downloadable, and I'm creating the files separately based from the lessons that we've had in the past. So that means that each of the folders will be containing the same index.html but updated depending on the lessons that we have so far tackled in our course here. So in this section, I just want to go and delete this already because we're already in the formatting section and I want to clean up some of the elements that we have here, and I'm sure that you're already familiar with this. And let me just go and delete some parts here that we can already eliminate in our worksheet here. So let's go, and also I'm going to be deleting this already. So at least this will be more cleaner. So don't worry, if you would want to have the same content here, it will be saved based from the lessons that we've had in our previous sessions. So actually this is already a folder for fundamental section 3. Here I will already be deleting some of this information, so at least we will be able to already clean up our work here. Okay, so at least there's very minimal information and code now here that we can work with as we go along in putting up or placing the contents in our project website here.